Alright, so a few days ago there was a leak for the supposed next Resident Evil game by the name of Resident Evil Apocalypse, and it did kind of detail some information for what would be coming to the game, such as kind of Chris being the main character and it following the BSAA line that was set up at the end of the village, more zombies being in it, over anything else. Some of it was believable in a sense where it would make sense if that was what they were doing, but there were certain parts of it where you really had to question the legitimate kind of side of this leak. As always with leaks, like I've said in the videos, don't believe everything you see, just wait for official confirmation. But there was one point that was made in this leak that kind of made everyone question if it was legit, and if it was, kind of like the backlash it would receive if that was what they did. As you can probably tell from the title of the video, the leak has to do with Claire Redfield, and she was going to return in the game, but she would ultimately die at the end due to her having to sacrifice herself to kind of save everybody. That was a big kind of, not only a discussion point, but also a big kind of massively complained about part of that leak, where you're going to bring back a character that hasn't been present in the mainline games for years, only to have them be a small part in the game, and then kill them. I think that's probably the main part for me with this leak that kind of makes it kind of seem that it's not real. There was another mention of another character, and it was Jill, and she would be like the Ada of Resident Evil 9, where she would be in the game, not playable, but like a massively important side character, which again did kind of bear some logic because she is Chris's partner, but it's still, people didn't like that idea. And I think especially those 2 points were big talking points for this leak, but I think Claire's death was kind of the big one, and people do not like it. And there are a lot of fans of the character. I'm a big fan of the character. She hasn't been in many games. I think the last one was Revelations 2. She has been in some of the animations, which are pretty good, but again, I would probably say she's been more of a side character in those. Hopefully that's not the case with the new one that's coming out soon. Everyone's in that one, so hopefully they'll get kind of bare time on screen, hopefully. But I think bringing back a character that has been absent for so long, that has such a kind of an audience and a fan base, and just to kill them off would be a really dumb move. At the same time, I do think, and this is me honestly saying it, with the next game, if Chris is in it again, in some way, whether he's dead, whether he kind of retires, or anything like that, I do feel like they're going to remove him from the series. He's been in loads of games. It's time for a different character that's been in the games for a while to kind of take the forefront, and I think if anyone was going to go, it should be him, and not a character that hasn't been in the games for years now. Even that will cause arguments. I know there's a big kind of fan base for Chris as well, and he's one of the main characters. He's been in there since the very start, so maybe not killing him off, but I think having him retire or something like that would be what would make sense for that game. Regardless of who you choose and what you do with them, and they kind of confirm that that character is leaving, I think is it always going to cause backlash, because every character has a fan base, and if you completely remove that character in whichever way, people aren't going to like it. And I really do think, whichever way Capcom do it, there's going to be a negative response to it, if that is the case and what they decide to do in the next game. But at the same time, I think it is time for a lot of the original characters, maybe one at a time slowly, but at least for some of them to kind of start being phased out of the games. If you didn't know, the Resident Evil timeline follows like a real life timeline. Like, they take place in the year they released. Resident Evil 7 was set in the year it released, Resident Evil Village was set in the year it released, and I'm sure the other ones are as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they're all like that. And, that means the characters have been in the game since the 90s, and they're old characters now, especially like Chris and Jill. They're getting on a bit. Jill, that's a whole different thing. Obviously with the animation that's coming out, we can kind of confirm that she has got slower aging compared to the others, so there is kind of a loophole with her. But if that wasn't the case, she would be old too. And I think it is time to kind of give those older characters a rest, and maybe not introduce new characters, but give other characters that have been in the series for a while some more limelight. You've got characters like Claire, Leon, they're a bit younger than Chris and Jill. You've got, Rebecca, you've got Sherry, who has been pretty much ignored since 6, and she had an interesting arc in 6, so it's surprising they haven't brought her back in some way. But there are plenty of other characters you can kind of pick that are still really well known and really liked by the community and the fans, and make some stories around them, rather than, like, I hate to say it because I really do like Chris, but instead of just bringing him back for every single game as a Blade, there's other characters you can choose, and there's plenty of other options you can do. But yeah, I think whichever way they do it, whether it is true and Claire does die, people aren't going to like that. If someone does die in the next game, people aren't going to like it. regardless of whatever you do with the character that causes them to leave the series permanently, people aren't going to like it. But it's kind of one of those things, you're going to get backlash no matter what you do with that. But as always, let me know what you think. Do you believe that someone, maybe Claire, someone will die in the next game? Do you think someone will be kind of finished with in the next game? Maybe they'll retire or something like that? Do let me know. As always, again, with that leak, just don't believe what it says. Until there's any confirmation from Capcom themselves, don't believe anything. But it is interesting to talk about and interesting to see what people think of it online. So let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and remember to subscribe for more Resident Evil content every single day. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.